Hi everyone, happy Easter. It's Easter Sunday and I'd like to record this video blog as spring has sprung and it's time for new beginnings. So I thought I'd talk about my previous miscarriage story, put that to bed so that we can move on and look forward to hopefully what's happening this year. So in 2014, Tim and I were embarking on a whistle-stop tour of South America. 5 countries, 3 weeks, 9 flights in total. So a couple of weeks before we went on our first flight, we had to have our jabs and I had to tick pregnant or not pregnant on the form. And not knowing I was pregnant, I ticked not pregnant. So if I had known I was pregnant, I wouldn't have been able to have the jabs and wouldn't have been able to go on the holiday. So we were on our first week and we were in Cusco, which is kind of the base point before you go to Machu Picchu. And it's quite normal to get altitude sickness while you're there, but I felt quite nauseous and I didn't think it was just the altitude sickness. So I sent Tim off to the pharmacy to try and get some pregnancy tests for me, which is quite a challenge. We don't really speak Spanish. But he came back with a number of tests and about 6 tests later, all of the lines were very faint but definitely there. So I was pregnant. Quite a scary thing to be far away from home, find out you're pregnant when you've had jabs that you shouldn't have had, etc. But again, still a joyous thing, and we didn't at this point hadn't ever experienced miscarriage. Didn't think that it would happen to me. Carried on with our holiday. 5 flights later, we'd done Chile, Argentina, and we were now in Brazil, in Rio. And we were staying in a lovely hotel on Ipanema Beach and my miscarriage started. Not a great end to what was a wonderful holiday. And I coped with it at that point by drowning myself in caipirinhas, which anyone who's been to Brazil knows you don't need many. And yeah, that was the first one. And then about 4 or 5 weeks later, we were back home and I'd sprained my ankle. So we went off to hospital and the lady said I needed an x-ray and was I pregnant? And I said, no, I don't think so. She said, well, probably should check. So she did a pregnancy test. Lo and behold, I was pregnant. Straight away again after the miscarriage had just happened. So again, overjoyed, but a little bit cautious. So we had a 6-week scan, which the NHS allow you to have, which was great. And all you can see was a little boom, boom, boom heartbeat. So we were super excited, relaxed into this. Couldn't possibly think that miscarriage would happen a second time to us. Unfortunately, we were on holiday in Hvar in Croatia, doing a scout for a potential wedding venue for ourselves, and my second miscarriage started. Went to the local clinic and had an emergency scan there, and basically they told me that after the 6-week scan, the pregnancy hadn't progressed at all. So the second one was kind of almost worse than the first one because I had to come back and had to go to hospital to have everything sorted out, and that was that. So we decided not to try. We brought our wedding forward to the end of the year to own the end of 2014 because it'd been a bit of a rubbish year for us with these 2 miscarriages, and we ended up getting married on New Year's Eve 2014 and left that year with a bang. It's heartbreaking. It's really good to talk about it though, and not kind of burst into tears. And the only reason I can do that, I think, is because I have talked about it, and I've talked about it with friends, and I've talked about it with family. And it is weird that the more you do talk about it with people, the more you find out that people have experienced it themselves, or they know someone that's been through miscarriage. And I really, really don't think we should treat it as a taboo subject. The statistics are something like 25% of us go through miscarriage, and people tell you it's part of the process of getting pregnant. And now it is quite easy for me to talk about without getting upset. However, it is really, really hard. People say to you, it's not your fault, there's nothing you could have done, these things happen. But when it's your body and effectively, this is really harsh, but effectively a baby has died inside of you, it's really hard to rationalise that. And now going into this pregnancy, I've got all of that stuff still with me, and I'm trying to think positive, I'm trying to think forward, but obviously the last 2 experiences I had of pregnancy turned out to be negative. So pushing through that kind of negativity barrier is proving really difficult for me at the moment. I've got a lot of fear. There's like a bit of a kind of a grey cloud at the moment until we get through that 12-week barrier. And as much as people have been amazing and the people that we've told have been so positive, it's still every day I wake up and think, oh thank God, and we've got through another day. I'm about 4 weeks pregnant now, and it's been a long week since I found out I was pregnant, and I've got another long 8 weeks to go until we're in the clear. Again, we've booked an early scan, but again, last time we had that and still bad stuff happened. So until we get to that 12-week mark, I'm really not going to breathe a sigh of relief. This is really good for me to be able to talk about it and have some kind of therapy for myself. So I'll keep pushing forward. Thanks guys, and I'll speak to you soon.